The rain hadn't stopped for 2 days straight, turning the streets of Maplewood into silver rivers. Inside the small corner cafe called Hazel's Hearth, the soft hum of jazz music played over the speakers, and the scent of roasted coffee beans mingled with cinnamon and hope. Behind the counter stood Hazel Meyer, a woman in her late 30s with tired but kind eyes. Every morning at 6:30, she unlocked the door, turned on the lights, and whispered to herself, "Let's make someone's day better." It wasn't just a saying, it was how she lived. After losing her husband in a car accident 5 years earlier, Hazel had poured her grief into this cafe. It became more than a business. It was her second home, a refuge for anyone who walked in broken, lost, or lonely. But business wasn't easy. Bills piled up faster than customers came, and every month Hazel wondered if this would be the one where she'd lose everything. Still, she smiled, served her coffee, and believed in kindness. That morning, while the storm thrashed outside, the door creaked open. A woman stepped in, clutching a soaking wet toddler in one arm and a worn-out grocery bag in the other. Her clothes were drenched, her face pale, her eyes tired and glassy, the kind of exhaustion that spoke of more than just a bad night. Hazel immediately noticed. She walked over with a towel, wrapped it around the shivering child, and led them to a corner booth near the heater. "Just sit, honey," Hazel said softly. "You're safe here." As the woman sat trembling, Hazel brought a steaming mug of hot chocolate for the little girl and a cup of coffee for her mother. She didn't ask for money. She didn't ask questions. Sometimes the story behind tired eyes is too heavy for words. The woman whispered a shaky thank you. She said her name was Rachel. She'd been evicted from her apartment after losing her job as a housekeeper. She was trying to reach her sister in another town, but had no money for food or shelter. Her daughter hadn't eaten since yesterday morning. Hazel listened, her heart twisting. She had been there, lost, scared, unsure how she'd make it through the next day. So she did what came naturally. She went to the kitchen, packed a small paper bag with sandwiches, muffins, and fruit, then slipped a folded $100 bill inside. She told Rachel it was just leftover food, but Rachel saw the bill when she opened the bag. Tears welled up. She tried to refuse, but Hazel smiled and said, "Just promise me you'll pay it forward someday." That night, Hazel closed the cafe later than usual. She watched the rain pour outside and felt a strange peace. She didn't know if she'd ever see Rachel again, but it didn't matter. Kindness, she believed, wasn't an investment. It was a gift. If you believe that kindness and second chances can change lives, take a moment to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel, Exposed Tales. Your support helps stories like this reach more hearts. The next morning dawned bright and crisp, the rain finally gone. Hazel arrived at the cafe early, as always, expecting another quiet day. But as she turned the corner, her steps froze. A crowd had gathered outside. 3 news vans were parked in front of her cafe. Reporters with cameras stood near the entrance, talking rapidly into their microphones. Her heart raced. She thought there must have been an accident. Then someone pointed at her and shouted, "That's her! That's the woman!" Before Hazel could speak, microphones and cameras surrounded her. "Hazel Meyer?" one reporter asked. "You helped a homeless mother last night, correct?" She blinked, confused. I just gave her some food, ma'am," another reporter interrupted. "Did you know she was filming you? That video's gone viral, over 2 million views overnight." Hazel's stomach dropped. "Filming me?" They showed her a phone screen. There she was, on video, kneeling beside Rachel, wrapping a towel around her child, smiling through the cafe window as she handed them food. The caption read, "This woman helped a homeless mother when no one else would." Hazel covered her mouth, speechless. She hadn't known Rachel had recorded it, but the internet had, and the world, it seemed, was suddenly watching. By noon, Hazel's Hearth was filled wall to wall with customers. People from across town came just to meet the kind cafe lady. They left notes, flowers, and donations on the counter. A businessman offered to feature her cafe in a kindness initiative. Strangers hugged her, thanked her, and told her how her simple act had restored their faith in humanity. Hazel smiled at them, but inside she felt overwhelmed. She hadn't done it for attention. She had just seen a woman in pain and couldn't walk away. But now, the cafe that once struggled to survive was suddenly alive with people, laughter, and purpose. Over the next few days, things changed quickly. Her cafe's social media page, which had only 80 followers before, shot past 150,000. Messages poured in, people sharing their own stories of kindness, grief, and healing. Hazel read every one of them late into the night, tears streaming down her face. But amid the joy, there was one message that made her heart stop. It was from Rachel. She wrote, "You gave me more than food. You gave me dignity when I had none left. Because of you, I found my sister. We're safe now. I didn't mean to film you. I was recording a message from my daughter to show her that angels still exist. You became that angel. Thank you for saving us." Hazel sat in silence for a long time, reading the message again and again. She thought about how easily she could have ignored Rachel that night, how small choices ripple through the world in ways we can't imagine. The next morning, the cafe opened as usual, but it felt different. Lighter, warmer. Hazel began a new initiative called the Hearth Fund. A small wooden box near the counter invited customers to donate to help struggling mothers, the homeless, and anyone in need. Within a week, it overflowed with bills and coins. Soon after, local volunteers joined in, and Hazel's Hearth became not just a cafe but a movement. People began coming not only for coffee but for comfort. A man who lost his wife found solace in sharing her favorite pie recipe. A young girl who'd been bullied started painting kindness quotes for the cafe walls. A retired teacher began offering free tutoring sessions in the corner booth. It became a community of hearts, stitched together by one woman's compassion. Yet through it all, Hazel remained humble. Whenever someone thanked her, she'd just smile and say, "It wasn't me, it was love." Months later, on a cold December morning, the cafe was buzzing with holiday cheer. Lights twinkled around the windows, and laughter filled the air. As Hazel served coffee to a group of regulars, a familiar face appeared at the door, Rachel, holding her daughter's hand. Hazel froze for a second, then rushed to hug them both. Rachel looked healthier now, glowing even. Her daughter ran to the Christmas tree in the corner, giggling. Rachel handed Hazel an envelope. Inside was a check, $10,000, and a short note for the Hearth Fund. "You gave me everything when I had nothing." Tears filled Hazel's eyes as she hugged Rachel tightly. "You didn't have to," she whispered. Rachel smiled. "You once told me to pay it forward. I'm just keeping my promise." That evening, after the cafe closed, Hazel sat by the window, watching snow drift past the glass. She thought about her husband, about the pain that once filled her heart, and how kindness had healed it bit by bit. Life had taken so much from her, yet in giving to others, she had found something far greater than she'd ever lost: purpose. Outside, people walked by smiling, holding hands, sipping coffee from Hazel's hearth. The little cafe that once struggled to survive had become a symbol of hope, and all it took was one act of compassion on a rainy night. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Exposed Tales, because sometimes one small act of kindness can change the world. Before you go, tell us in the comments, have you ever helped someone in need, or been helped when you needed it most? Your story might inspire someone else today. As the night grew quiet, Hazel turned off the cafe lights and whispered her familiar words once more, her heart full and steady. "Let's make someone's day better." And she always did.